Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation, joined once again by Lane, and we are giving you another Warhammer 40K battle report. Today's matchup is going to be Lane's DeathWatch versus my Necrons in a rematch from our first 10th edition game. So we are still getting ready for Arch City GT. However, two things came up. One, I talked a lot about the Cryptex. And man, that gets the taste running. When you start reading through a book, regardless of what you're running for a tournament, you want to get those models on the table.
Definitely.
And that was part of it. And second, Lane needs to practice his Deathwatch because he is taking his Deathwatch to Arch City. Arch City or Arc City?
Arch.
Yes. So, and that's our Columbus GT. So Lane's list is what he plans on taking.
No, not necessarily. I'm still tweaking some things. Arch City is in 2 weeks, and this weekend there's actually a GT at our local recess I'll be going to. So I've got two GTs 2 weeks in a row. I'm really just testing some units that I'm kind of fine-tuning some things, but I want to see how they function. I don't think this will be my final GT list, but some things in it will definitely make into my GT
list. Definitely getting close, though. It's getting close to the finished product. As for me, as many of you may have seen already on the channel, especially all my cronies out there, I was doing a review on all the Cryptex. Still will wait for the one on the named characters, which will be coming later this week. And after going through them all, I had some ideas and some concepts and wanted to splash them on the table. So because I'm most likely taking Grey Knights, and we definitely will get an opportunity to play Grey Knights versus Deathwatch, this is an opportunity. Lane needs to practice just as much as I do. He brought Imperial Knights last week for me to face off against and test out my Grey Knights into. Now I'm going to throw some Necrons on the table and let Lane mess around and wade through some warriors.
I've played a couple games against Eldar. I'm ready for something different. Had 3 games of them. They're rough. they're tough. So I'm glad to be playing something different today, and I'm glad to get a shot at the Necrons.
Right, because the Necrons are actually still doing quite well. They're very, very strong book, a lot of information. And one of the things I've been kind of preaching lately with them is I think that now that the indexes have been released, we've played some games, we've seen some tournaments, now we start to get to phase 2 of indexes, where we start to really get down to the nitty-gritty of stuff. And one thing personally I feel for Necrons is we're going to start cutting some characters. What characters do we actually need versus what characters do we think we absolutely need? Things like Overlord with Resurrection Orb and the timing on those things may not be as necessary with other units that are able to do things off enhancements like the Sovereign to give the count as character effect for multiple units in the army, or, spoiler alert, Illuminator Xeris. He's a mean one. He's a mean one now. So, all right, we've gabbed enough about that. Let's actually show what we're bringing today. Lane, what do you got?
All right, guys, here's my Deathwatch for today. I have no kill teams on the board, and I've got to apologize, guys. There's a model on here that's just old gray plastic. I haven't had a chance to paint them yet, but you got to forgive me. New edition, new models, kind of racing to get everything taken care of before the GT's coming up. So we're going to start off with the Captain in Terminator armor. There he is, just standing on his big old 50mm base, glorious in his gray, unpainted, unprimed plastic. So he obviously is going to be joining a Terminator squad. I wanted to have him there so I can give a free strat to one of my squads. But also he has the enhancement Tome of Ectoclades. This is a Deathwatch enhancement, and it lets me once per game in my command phase pick a second Oath of Moment target. So once per game, I will have 2 Oaths of Moment active for an entire battle round. The only other character I have is a Calidus Assassin. And based on the mission today, it might be kind of a challenge for me to only have 2 characters. But the Calidus is here. Obviously, she can do her action that makes one of my opponent's stratagems cost an extra CP, so that's valuable. But she also has the mobility of being able to deep strike, being able to basically be picked up at the end of each of my opponent's turns and come back in my reserve steps. So she has that flexibility that I can use her throughout the game to get on objectives and get board control. And she's also a lone operative, so she can't be shot unless you're within 12 inches of her. So she's got some protection there. Now, next, the bulk of the army, we've got 3 5-man Deathwatch Terminator squads. No kill teams today, just Terminator squads. The nice thing about Deathwatch specific Terminator squads is they can take 3 heavy weapons, no matter the size of the squad. So a 5-man squad can take 3 heavy weapons. All 3 of these squads are equipped the exact same way today. We got 3 Cyclone missile launchers. Remember, these are like Space Marine missile launchers that fire a crack or a frag missile, but Cyclones fire 2. So each one of these gets 2 crack and 2 frag shots, 2 crack or 2 frag shots. So they can put out a lot of shots into both tough targets like vehicles and monsters, or into infantry as well. And then the rest of the squad is just 2 more Terminators with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield, so have some extra unit there. Next, we've got 1 10-man Brick of Desolation Marines. These are all super crack missiles and 1 Vanguard launcher on the Sergeant, and of course the indirect fire. They have the definitely utility for being able to have some indirect shots, and also just additional good strength, high damage output weapons to go into vehicles and monsters. I have 2 Inceptor squads today. The cool thing about Inceptors now is that they can deep strike just outside of 3 inches, so they can get real close to units. Obviously, they can't charge when they do that, but they can put some shots out, and more importantly, for tactical missions, they have the ability to drop in and do actions, or get into my opponent's deployment zone, or get into table quarters for engaging all fronts. And they are even assault weapons, so if I need to, they can move, advance, and still do actions and that sort of thing. So they're here for the utility. I have 1 that's plasma and 1 that's assault bolters. I'm just experimenting with the 2 of them today, see which one I like more. I think I'm probably going to go with double both plasma, but I will give the assault bolters a chance. The assault bolters have sustained hits 2, so anytime they get a 6 to hit, they get 2 extra hits. So we'll see if that comes into play. We'll see how hot my dice roll. I might determine whether I take them in any of the tournaments coming up. Next, we've got 2 Whirlwinds. So the Whirlwinds went up in points due to the indirect fire nerf. They were 125, now they're 150 apiece. They do get pretty good shots there. The range on their guns is 72 inches. So I basically have the entire board, indirect fire, and it's D6 plus 3 shots blast. So they can put out a fair number of shots, and they are strength 8, AP2, 2 damage. So they can do some work and get some work done. In addition to that, anytime I hit a unit with that, they have to take a battle shock test. So I'll be passing out battle shock tests. I forgot to mention the DeathWatch Terminators also cause battle shock tests when they charge, when they complete a charge on enemy units. So I actually have 5 different units that can force battle shock tests on the table here today. So in addition to the 2 Whirlwinds, I have another indirect piece. I do have the Thunderfire Cannon. I apologize, guys. I bought this one off of eBay, and it looks like somebody left it out in the sun too long, or accidentally put it in the microwave. I don't know. It looks a little melted and wonky. You'll have to forgive him. But he's going to be hanging in the back and putting out some shots. He doesn't really do that much damage because his strength 5, AP nothing, 1 damage shots don't really chew through armor very well. But anytime he hits an infantry unit, that infantry unit loses 2 inches to its move, 2 inches to its advance, and 2 inches to its charge. And that can be useful in a game of bug hang on objectives. And then finally, we have the Thunderstrike Storm Speeder. This has the Hailstrike weapons on it. I do have them magnetized. I just haven't built the Thunderstrike weapons to put it on here. But the Thunderstrike Speeder is the anti-tank, anti-vehicle, anti-monster speeder. Its weapons are strong, high AP, high damage weapons. And its special rule is that after it shoots a vehicle or monster, as long as it scores a hit on that vehicle or monster, the rest of the armor gets +1 to wound against that. I have been favoring the Hailstrike Speeder because it gives me extra AP against the target that it hits, but I'm just trying this out today. I had the extra points. I could squeeze it in there because the Thunderstrike's a little more expensive. We'll see if it's worth it today. It's going to give me more wounds, but doesn't improve the AP. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, that is the DeathWatch. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right. Well, since we're in the realm of asking for forgiveness, I got quite a few sins in my list right now. One of which is intentional. The rest are not so much. Working on the Grey Knights. Those are the guys that are on the table right now getting painted. So there's a couple gray boys in this list. All right. So for my Necrons, let's start off with I got 2 20-man bricks of Necron warriors. One of which is going to have 2 Crypt Thralls and a Chronomancer. The other is 2 Crypt Thralls and a Psychomancer. Now, yes, I've talked poorly about the Psychomancer, but got to get him on the channel to put the final nail in the coffin of him not being that good. The reason I did the 1 squad of gray Necron warriors was to help keep kind of some separation between the 3, because as the offspring said, you have to keep them separated. The last 10 are going to be Gauze Reapers. They're going to go into my Ghost Ark, and they are going to have a Plasma Lancer with them. So they will be able to possibly do some bounce out, hit heavy damage coming out of that transport. We'll see how it works. So that's a combo I've been dying to try. Moving over to my non-warrior units, we have one Canoptic Reanimator because Canoptic Reanimator. I have a Monolith with Death Rays because I want some heavy, high damage effects, and the Monolith seems pretty cool. It seems like it's actually has some playing power in this edition. And then we have a Luminar Xeris. Xeris is basically an aura of Armor of Contempt, or True Silver Armor, as I like to call it, with Grey Knights, reducing the AP of weapons by 1 to battle line units within 6 of him, as well as increasing the AP of those guns in those battle line units by 1 if it's within 6. Now, if he is able to kill a model actually, in close combat, he can increase the range of that effect. He can only increase it once per turn, but he can increase it by 3 inches, and it doesn't seem like there's a cap, so he can keep making that range larger and larger over time. Last and surely not least is my Lich Guard. I have a 10-man squad of Lich Guard with a Technomancer and 2 Crypt Thralls to just be big, bulky, and annoying. All right, so again, tournament season, so we're getting a lot of models ready, where we had a lot of stuff for all of these armies ready to go for 9th edition. And it would just go, oh, maybe I'll add this one guy. Maybe I'll add this one unit. Now with 10th edition, we're adding entire units. I mean, like roughly how many points would you say you've added to your DeathWatch collection since 10th edition has, even maybe slightly before 10th edition officially dropped, when the teasers started coming out? How many points would you say you've probably added to your DeathWatch?
Probably 2,000 or 3,000 points. My DeathWatch collection is probably close to 15,000 points now. It's a lot. But for example, I had 0 Terminators for my Deathwatch before 10th edition, and now I've got 15 I'm putting on the table. And I have some more in case I want to run more.
I'm lucky that I didn't have to add anything to Necrons to my collection.
Not
but
yet.
I mean,
they're getting the Codex soon. They're going to need some more models.
Oh, I'm hoping. But going into the index, I basically have 3 of almost everything except for like the Doomsday Arc, because I'm not a fan of the model that looks like a shoe. I'm sorry. I know there's going to be people that are going to be upset with me saying that. The problem with the Doomsday Arc that I have with it aesthetically is it looks like a shoe. It's a Ghost Arc turned upside down, and it looks like a shoe, and that bothers me.
If you agree or disagree, please comment below.
Thank you. All right. Well, there's only one other thing, though, that we can bring up to agree upon. It's time to decide who the attacker and defender is. Sir, odd or even?
Even.
And it's odd.
It is.
I don't think you've won one of these yet in 10th.
Not in 10th.
We'll have to go back and check that. I think I've won every single one of the roll-offs, and you rolled last time. So I will be the attacker because I want you to deploy first. Correct?
Sounds good.
I believe that's it. Yeah. All right. We'll be back after deployments. All right. We are deployed. So for my Necrons, I am not fully hiding in a house today because I just got too much. So I do have my Necron warriors kind of hustling around this objective to be able to get some reanimation buff. And my Ghost Ark is ready to be able to attack one of 2 objectives, depending on who goes first and how the game plays out. And then the other units just kind of hiding in the backfield to wait for later in the game, make stuff happen. I don't really want that Calidus to just come pounce on me too quick. So we'll see how that all goes. For Lane, I'm actually going to let Elaine kind of describe what he's got going on here because, you know, he talked about all these models, and I don't see half of his army.
Yeah, well, you don't have to see half of my army. 980 points is in reserve/deep strike. The only thing that's actually truly in strategic reserve is the 340 points of Desolator Marines. Everything else has the deep strike keyword. So Terminators, the Speeder, the Inceptors, they're all deep striking. I've got 2 Terminator squads on the table. One of them has the captain with them. I've got the Thunderfire Cannon, 2 Whirlwinds, and my Calidus is over here because she has the Infiltrator keyword. She can ability she can deploy out in no man's land, so she's got an objective already. Good for her.
And are those Terminators on top of that building, or are they just
no? They're down inside.
Okay. And also to comment, Elaine, I will be putting my Monolith, as well as there's 10 warriors inside the Ghost Ark that are off the table as of right now. So with that being said, Lane, talk to us. What is the mission we are playing today?
So as you can kind of see, our deployment is table quarters here, search and destroy. So we've got each of us has a quarter with a 9-inch bubble in the middle. And then the mission is sites of power. There's a whole lot of words here, but basically you get 3 points for each objective you control, and you get an extra 3 points if the site has been empowered by having a character on it. So you've got to get characters onto objectives to get the extra points.
Specifically the ones in No Man's Land.
Specifically the ones in No Man's Land, yeah.
And last, real quick, I want to stop you before you go into the next one. The mission rule, guys, get a pen and paper ready for this one. This is a complicated mission special rule.
Nothing. It's chilling rain. Nothing will happen.
Well, I mean, chilling rain seems kind of a pain in the butt. Shouldn't our guys like get annoyed at least?
Space Marines don't get cold. Necrons don't get cold.
This is true, but if I roll a 1, can I at least be annoyed?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna make my annoyed test. Oh, I'm not annoyed. Okay, so going on to the rest of it. We now just need to determine who's going first. Lane, in this scenario, what would you prefer, going first or second?
Yes. Either one's fine. Let me think. First or second? Actually, yeah, either one's good for me. I have a lot of redeploys and that sort of thing. Because we both have stuff in reserves, going second kind of wins the reserve off, where the person who goes second will have the ability to bring in their reserves based on what their opponent does. So that's kind of an advantage here. So I wouldn't mind going second.
Yeah, well, hopefully, because I would like to actually go first. So let's see what happens. Well, that's an indecisive one right there.
Again.
Oh, so I will be going second. Lane, you go first. And do you have any pregame moves? Nothing out of this army.
No pregame.
Okay, I don't either. So we'll be back after Lane's movement phase.
All right, guys. So my secondaries are bring it down, kill vehicles, and capture enemy outposts, which is to take my opponent's deployment zone objective, which I don't know why they don't have something on that says if you pull that turn 1, you don't have to do it. But
you
apparently,
can do it. You feel great. You can win.
Good news, I'll be getting a CP when I discard that at the end of the turn. So I declared double Oath of Moment this turn. I used my Tome of Ectoclades, which I use once per game, and I picked the Ghost Ark, because that's what this is called.
Yep.
And then also the Reanimator, what is hiding in there. So we're going to try and put some wounds on those two, try to destroy them for Oath of Moment. We'll see if we get lucky. I've got my Terminators that move forward out of the building, so they can shoot the Ghost Ark, hopefully do some damage there. We're going to have 12 crack missiles going at it, plus 100 kill room missile, and then hopefully the indirect fire will pick up the Reanimator. I'm going to throw some dice, guys, and see what happens, see if I ever manage to do it. Okay, so the Cyclones did great work into the Ghost Ark, picked that thing up, and even DJ did me the courtesy of rolling 3 1s for the Necron Warriors that came out, so 3 of them died on the way out. 3 mortal wounds, but 3 of them died. This DJ got my hopes up. He's like, oh yeah, the Reanimator's only got 6 wounds. Neglecting to tell me it has a 4 up, feel no pain for no good reason. So
neglecting. I told him naughty Kool-Aid. No.
It's definitely DJ's fault that I didn't kill the Reanimator this turn.
Totally my fault.
So I hit him with I did put Oath of Moment on him, hit him with both of the Whirlwinds. They had good numbers of shots. DJ just rolled well on his saves because due to cover and everything, it was getting 4 up saves, and of course 4 up feel no pain. So he rolled well in both of those. I only did 2 wounds from all the shots from the 2 Whirlwinds. So that'll heal right back up and be perfectly fine. But at least I picked up the Ghost Ark, got 4 points on Bring It Down. And I put the Thunderfire Cannon into these Necron Warriors. So they're going to be, I didn't kill any, which is actually ideal, surprisingly, because if I did kill some, he could reanimate them closer to the objective. Because they were hit by the Thunderfire, I failed to do any wounds or failed he only had 2 wounds he had to make saves on. He made both those saves. But because they were hit by the Thunderfire Cannon and their infantry, they're -2 to their move, -2 to their charge, and -2 to their advance. So that's it for the Warriors. That's it for my turn. Got a couple points. I'm going to discard capture enemy outpost because I'm not getting on the deployment zone anytime soon, and that will score me 1 command point. On to DJ's turn.
All right, so my turn 1 was pretty simple. I did pop the Veil to put the Lich Guard up in the air, just in case some of my secondaries required me to need them to get anywhere or get into the center, especially like area denial and some of those big scoring ones. I did get a good one. I got extend battle lines, but I was able to pick it up with this objective over here, as well as having my home field objective still. My other one is defend enemy strongholds, so I will be hanging back on this and just hold that out for a turn just so I can get those free and easy points. Didn't need to spend any command points, so I won't need to ditch my last card to gain a CP this turn. Basically, I did reanimate the 3 guys that died off the Necron Warrior reanimation, marched them over there, moved the Warriors up and took shots at Terminators, which just hit armor, hit walls, and failed, which I wasn't expecting very much out of that. So for the turn ending, I will get 5 on extend battle lines, and I'm waiting for defend stronghold, which it has to score at the end of my opponent's turn. So we're going to go into lanes 2 and see what he decides to do and how he decides to play it.
All right, the Inceptors came in hot. So not a whole lot of movement throughout. I did move the Whirlwind over to get a little closer into this corner to block out any kind of deep striking. Although you don't have any deep striking left, right?
Monolith.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't have any deep strike. I have the Monolith.
The Monolith. The Terminators came out a little bit so that they can get some shots on some Warriors over here. When it comes to deep striking, remember the Inceptors can deep strike just outside of 3 inches. Of course, they can't charge, so I can't take that objective. But they will have eyes on this nasty little reanimator who is hiding right up inside this building here. We're going to try to see if we can do a little bit better about taking them out this turn. Then the Terminators jumped in over here. I should say my 2 secondaries were tempting target. DJ picked this as his tempting target, so I dropped some Terminators in so they could see if they can make a charge onto this objective and take it. And then the other one...
Your other one was...
What am I trying to do, DJ?
Behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines. All right, the Inceptors get me that, so the Inceptors will survive and stay there and get me points on behind enemy lines. So that's it for movement. As far as shooting, I'm going to see if we can take out the Reanimator. Going to see if we can pop some of these Necrons in the middle here, and I'll come back in a minute, let you know how it goes. Guys, I don't like these dirty stinking Necrons. The good news is I picked up the Reanimator thing, so it's going to slow down or reduce DJ's reanimation ability, but Necrons are just stupid hard to kill when they get the, what are they, Crypto Thralls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they, for no good reason, have 4-up feel no pains. So they just...
So the Crypto Thralls, really to fill you in on basically, is when I'm allocating the wounds, since they're not characters, I'm able to allocate the wounds to them. And being the fact that they do have a 4-up feel no pain as well as 2 wounds, I'm able to soak up a couple of wounds on the Crypto Thralls before I start losing many of the warriors.
These guys, they're dumb. They're terrible.
Could at least go with the painted one. See, look.
It doesn't make it any less dumb if it has paint on it.
Rah.
All right, so the Plasma Inceptors dropped in, did a lot of damage to the Reanimator, and then I finished it off with a Whirlwind. And then the Bolter Inceptors shot this squad here. For 1 CP, the squad can shoot back at the Bolter Inceptors at their full ballistic skill, also ignoring cover because there's a character in you. It's a very high value 1 CP strat, especially when the squad got 40 shots. So he did pick up one of the Inceptors. They are T6 with 3 wounds, but he did pick up one of the Bolter Inceptors there. Here, my Terminators, I threw a few Storm Bolter shots into this squad. Ended up killing 3. I had placed myself, so I was within charge range of 3. So unfortunately, I probably made my charge very difficult. Well, maybe the Dice Gods will give us a 10 or 11. So, but really, I put a ton of fire into Necron Warriors and did very little damage. So I used the Cyclone missiles from these 2 Terminator squads, and I used the stratagem that makes them anti-infantry 2-up, and I used the frag cannons. I basically did 50 or 60 wounds to DJ, but he was getting 3-up saves, and then the Crypto Thralls were tanking a ton because they're 2 wounds, and they have 4-up feel no pains. So I killed very few models from each of these units.
And that 3-up save, the reason I'm getting a lot of it, too, is I did give the Psychomancer the hyper material Albatter or whatever. However, I'm going to butcher that thing all 10th edition. But they count as cover, and they also get the -1. So that's where some of the buffs are coming from too.
So I've got to make some charges. Really, just one charge. So I'm going to roll it right here on camera. What have I got there, DJ?
An 11.
An 11. That's not what I wanted. Here we go.
That's a 7.
I've got plenty of CP. We're going to CP reroll it. Show me that 11. I'm going for the hot. Whoa, 10.
Oh!
Wait, I don't trust DJ. I'm going to go measure it real quick. Oh, here we go. DJ's probably. DJ, I need a 10. DJ, that's a 10. I got you. I didn't need an 11. I didn't need yeah. Oh, we're in. Let's see what these Terminators do. My Terminators are so angry. Guys, I should have showed you the dice roll here. What happened was the Thunderhammers kind of whiffed, but the Power Fists went right on through. And I got 8 wounds. DJ failed 5 on the last 5 guys, and they killed them. And then he rolled for the character. And he rolled 3 6s for the character saves. So he tanked him on the character. So I do take the objective, obviously, and I killed that unit. But the character is still there. He didn't want to pile into me. He didn't want to take a swing at these Terminators. So
Nah.
all right, on to DJ's turn, guys. Oh, as far as scoring, I did score really well because this is the tempting target. I did take this objective, and I got 2 units behind enemy lines. So I believe I score 5 on each of those. It should be 10 for my secondaries. All right, on to DJ.
And then I will score 3 for defend the stronghold.
Because he still has his home objective.
All right, so let this piece of terrain out of here for just a moment. We're ending my movement phase, and I brought the monolith in. So the monolith has its own little unique ability that can pick up any battle line infantry unit. Actually, it might just be infantry, but in this case, it is a battle line unit, and place them wholly within 6 inches of him. That unit is not allowed to charge after, but it can be placed wholly within 6.
Yeah, it's not battle line; it's infantry.
It is infantry? Okay, neat. So I brought the Necron warriors over here with the Chronomancer, so after they shoot, they can then move again. So they're gonna be shooting at the Calidus over here. Probably won't pick her up, but we're gonna give it a try. The Lich Guard moved to center to complete an action on there, and we'll talk about that action in just a second for my secondaries. And these guys started to make their march back at the Terminators. They're going to need to charge to get on that objective, and I think I may try to do that in an effort to take some primary points away, because although I get a lot of really cool stuff going on and I'm really running super resilient, I'm not really picking anything up out of Lane's army. So far, I've killed 1 Marine model. That's it. So, yeah, and he has picked up quite a few of my models and some of my resources, so I'm going to start.
But you're a Necron player. You just put them back after you pick them up.
I don't put back Reanimators and Ghost Arcs when they get blown up. And that's what it concerns me, is I'm going to start losing resources here pretty quick. Lane's already vexed, which means he used the Calidus's ability to make my reanimation strat cost 1 additional. So we're going to start seeing a lot. Like, I've had some good, strong turns of reanimations and keeping things alive. I think the next couple turns, I'm probably going to lose some. So I want to get some points out of the way now and try and deny as many points as I can. Over here, I did move Xeris back by himself, and he's going to try and rumble with these what are they called? The jumpy
Inceptors.
Inceptors, thank you. And so, yeah, let's see what we can make happen here after my Necron shooting phase.
Oh, he moved in there?
Yes.
I'm going to overwatch him.
Okie dokie. So, interrupting my shooting phase, the monolith here, I was trying to make decisions on stuff, and I've let the monolith shoot at this little tank here, and I'm like, oh, I don't want these death rays to be overkill. So I've put, but I haven't used them yet, so I put all 4 of the monolith's death rays onto the tank. And 6s are sustained hits D3. So not only did I hit with all 4, but 3, 3, and 3. What is that, 13?
Yep, 4 shots, 13 hits.
This is how you turn 4 into 13. So what is the... I need 3s to wound you now? Right? Strength 12?
Yeah. 3s to wound.
So I fail with 3, 4 of them. So here it is. If you just want to roll those out a bit.
AP4?
Yeah.
Joke's on you. I get 6 ups
Whoa.
because of cover on my. Oh, he's dead.
And that's, yeah, I don't even have to roll. He has 8 wounds left. One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I kill him on the +1 damage.
It's D6 plus 1. So let's see how much damage you did.
Oh, please,
Throw it.
please,
Throw
let me do the honors here. Thank you, thank you. Oh, wow, that is impressive on that one. But who needs to be? So we got 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, plus the 8. So 30 damage. 30 damage from the monolith.
All right, he's going to explode and kill all of your warriors. He doesn't explode.
All right. We'll come back after I finish out the shooting phase. That was awesome. All right, so not much from the shooting phase. We started moving on to the charges. Before I finish resolving these, I'll tell you real quick. So my secondaries are No Man's Land and teleporter, deploy teleporters. So the Lich Guard are just going to do teleporters in the middle to score me some points, and No Man's Land, I'm picking up these 2 objectives guaranteed, so I will score those. The Monolith easily picked up Mr. Whirlwind, and the Warriors with the Chronomancer almost got the Calidus, but she's going to be able to get out of there and rescue herself. Over here, my Particle Whip was only able to damage a Terminator, didn't even pick one up yet. He's at 1 wounds left because of Storm Shield giving the extra wound. And the Warriors also put some fire on them too, trying to nickel and dime some damage. Over here, Xeris was actually really good at picking up 2 of the Plasma Inceptors before they could do anything else. And now we're moving on to charges, where Xeris made his charge into the Bolter equipped Plasma Intercessors, and will be able to do that right from there. The Monolith failed its charge to try and get over onto the Thunderfire Cannon. Over here, even with the -2 to their move, the Warriors are successful in their charge onto the Terminators, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We will, I just want to try and reduce how many points Lane's going to score at his turn. So we'll come back and see how that goes. All right, so as soon as I finish up working on my Grey Knights list, Xeris is hitting the painting table because he just wrecked these guys. I mean, there was 5 there, and he took everyone down except the last Plasma all by himself. Cleared them out, holding the objective down. Good job, Xeris, good job. And then over here, my Warriors failed to do really any damage, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to take the objective away, and I definitely will with my objective control 2 on the Warriors, so I will take it away for at least a turn from Lane, which will help me on that primary game. And that was it. So at the end of the turn, I will get a 5 on No Man's Land, because I actually hold all 3 of the No Man's Land objectives. And I will get 3 on Deploy Teleport Homers, because I decided to do that in the center, because I needed to shoot with these guys. I thought about going for the 5 points in Lane's deployment zone, but it just seemed more worth it to jump over here and try and get this Calidus off the field. Try was the operative word there, as well as getting the objectives in the way I did. So we're going to turn it over to Lane and the bottom of 3.
All right, we're on the table. DJ tried to convince me to have the Calidus run away at the end of his turn. And I was like, no way, she's going to hold this objective, because I'll definitely kill all of those Necron warriors there. No problem.
Famous last words. What else we got going on?
So I ran away. The Inceptor failed his battle shock test, but he advanced back here into the corner.
Now, why is that battle shock important, Lane?
Because now he does not count as an engage in all front eligible unit.
Yes.
And I pulled engage in all front and assassinate for my secondaries today. Or not today, this turn.
This turn today?
This turn now, here, in the present. Live in the moment. So this big character, what's his name?
Luminar Xeris.
All right, Luminar Xeris. If he wants to charge this guy, he's going to have to come off the objective. I did place my speeder from Deep Strike into this quarter, so I've got engaged all fronts from him. I have Terminators over here, so they're engaging all fronts. These Terminators moved up a little bit so they can get shots on the big floaty thing that I keep forgetting the name of.
Monolith.
Monolith. It's monolithic.
Hey, listen, we're both forgetting names of each other's units. It happens.
Yeah, they might charge the guys in the middle if they feel like getting spicy there. And then the whirlwind backed up, so he has line of sight. That way he doesn't take the penalty to hit the monolith, and he can also fire his hunter killer missile. The speeder is the Thunderstrike speeder, so he's going to put one shot into this thing to see if he can kill it. Not to kill it, but to make the rest of the armory so that they are getting +1 to wound against it because it's a vehicle.
And I have one command point that I'm going to try and stifle or assassinate with at some point.
Sure. Then the only other spicy thing is I chose for my my mission tactic this turn. I did choose precision, so any 6s to hit will be precision hits, both in shooting and combat.
Yeah, that's mean. I was actually going to ask that. I was like, is that combat too? What's your at the moment target?
The monolith.
Monolith.
The big dumb thing in the middle of the table that I don't like.
Dumb. It's pretty.
It really hurt my whirlwind real bad.
Yeah,
I killed it multiple times over. I don't like that. So here we go. Let's see what happens. I was really hoping these Desolation Marines would pick up the monolith and all these guys because they get D3 shots each plus blast. And they got a ton of shots into them from the Castellans. But I put the crack missiles into the monolith. We did pick up the monolith with the help of some other crack missiles from Terminators. But I just didn't do as much damage as I wanted to these guys.
Rest in peace, monolith.
And then the Calidus put her flamer into them, and they shot back with 1 CP. So they killed her by shooting back. She only had the 1 wound left. So didn't do a whole lot of damage.
This
otherwise,
is where the monolith was. Rest in peace.
'Twas where the monolith was. I'm going to make some charges, though, or try to make some charges. So these Terminators are going to come in hot, see if we can get some work done there. Terminators failed their charges. They only needed to roll a 5, but I think I just got a 4. So didn't make it into these guys in the middle. Over here, though, one little spot of good luck was that I rolled just enough 6s on my attacks here because I was using the DeathWatch precision, 6s to hit a precision for this turn. I did pick up the character out of this unit, so that scored me assassination. I was worried I wasn't going to get it. Came down to the last character I was going to target. But we did pick up assassination and got all 4 for engaging all fronts. I'm in all 4 corners. So I get 5 and 5 on secondaries. So we're up to 10 for this turn in secondaries. Still, DJ's got a lot of stuff on the table to hold objectives. But I've kind of, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. DJ, do your thing.
All right, so my turn was based around investigate signals. So the other one, capture enemy outposts, it's a rough one in my opinion. I don't have really any good options to get in there, especially since Lane hit me with these guys hitting these warriors over here for -2 to their move. So it was going to be nearly impossible for me to get over here. Could have tried to come out there and charge and do some craziness, but most likely I would have ended up losing more points than I would have gained for that 8. And I need a little bit of command points, so I decided to hold that card to pitch it to gain a command point instead of lose one going into turns 4 and 5. Earlier I had said that we're going into the bottom of 3. This is the bottom of 3. And so my turn, not a whole heck of a lot happened because of investigate signals. So Xeris, my Plasmancer, this squad of warriors over here, we're the ones that are going to investigate signals for me. Over here, my Lich Guard decided to try and get rid of some of these Terminators and did a pretty good job, picked up 3 of them, and were only lost nothing. They held their own. So now we're going to move into Lane's turn. I get, how many points do I get off investigate signals is the question. So I get...
Corner, I think it's 2 each corner.
2 each corner, yeah. So I'm going to get 6 points off the investigate signals. I had a big 15 on primary to start out the turn, so that was pretty huge. And I'm pushing Lane to only get a 3 on primary for his turn. So I have a feeling, though, that this turn is really going to hurt me bad here, as Lane's going to be able to come back with a vengeance, and I don't have a lot of defensive resources really at this time. So, all right, let's see what he can do.
All right, DJ's got me in a tough spot because I'm just struggling on primaries here, but my secondaries are deploy, teleport, homer, and cleanse. Now these are 2 where I got to do actions. Luckily, my Inceptor way over in DJ's deployment zone did pass its battle shock test. And so I moved both the speeder and the Inceptor on here. So we're going to cleanse and deploy teleport homers here. So I'm going to get some points there. He is not able to heroic into me because there has to be a unit that has charged within 6 inches of him, somewhere around there. It's because I'm not going to charge him. He won't be able to heroic. He could have overwatched, I guess, but it would have been hitting on 6s. So that's really it. The Desolator's got a little closer here so they can charge onto this objective and take it. And then these Terminators got a little closer so they can charge and hopefully take that objective there. That is it. That's it for this turn. Or not for this turn, but that's it for moving. Let's do a little bit of shooting and then get some fighting in.
All right, so we had a minor audio problem with a crackle in there that really sounded atrocious, so I'm just going to fill you guys in. So Lane beat up my Necron warriors real good, dropping me down to just one guy and taking that objective away from me, so that was going to take some primary points away going into my turn. Then over here to Lich Guard. Lich Guard do what Lich Guard do. They were a shielded wall and just walled the Terminator's onslaught and were able to stay there and hold the objective for me. Didn't really lose a lot of casualties in there. However, over across in the other corner, Lane was able to make his charge and completely crush the Necron warriors over there, taking out and just leaving me down to a Chronomancer and a couple warriors. So that was about it for the turn.
So we're just going to go through my entire turn because not a lot actually happened on the gameplay side, more just the little pieces and parts. So first of all, my secondaries I got for the turn were engage on all fronts and originally behind enemy lines. And this is the time I chose to spend that command point to shuffle it out and get cleanse. Actually, I think it was engage I got for it, but I also had cleanse. So at the beginning of the turn, I only held one objective, this one in the middle. And I held it with a Technomancer there too. So I was able to get 6 points off the mission primary. So now it came down to secondaries. How was I going to score these? So we're engaged on all fronts. I wasn't in too bad of a position because I was able to fall these warriors back here. And then I just resurrected for the normal D6 because I did not control the objective marker. But when I fell back and I passed my battle shock, I was able to increase the squad size big enough to take the objective marker so I take points away from Lane during his turn, and as well have an eligible unit to score engage on all fronts. Put you guys right back there. Feel like I'm like going on the beach picking up shells, finding Necron warriors underneath it. Over here, we still control this objective. We were able to beat up some of these Terminators real good. Got 7 Lich Guard left in there, and Lane still got 3 Terminators and his captain. And then over here, this was kind of cool. So I fell back. First, I moved so this is a big part of it. And I got to say, Lane was cool. And if he didn't remind me about this, it would have been really bad for me on this play. So Overwatch happens immediately. So what I ended up doing after Lane reminded me was I moved the Plasmancer first onto that objective so that he would be able to do cleanse. Then I fell back with the warriors, which were at a 6-man squad after the reanimation, and Lane overwatched, killing those 4 that are up top. If he had killed one more, I would not have been able to cleanse this objective. But I was able to, so I'm going to get a 2 on cleanse. I got the 6 for the points for the turn, and I'm going to get, 4 on engage?
3 points, because you were in 3.
I'm in 3, and then I get I get 2 points.
Plus 1.
And then I get the plus 1. Yeah. So, yeah, 2 for the 3. Yep. All right. We're going to go over to Lane. And
you just cleansed 1, right?
I only cleansed the 1. Yeah, I only cleansed this objective right over here. All right. Now it's time to go over to Lane and see how he answers back. And hopefully I've stifled enough of his points before he burns my guys off the field.
All right, guys. My moving phase. I didn't move anything. Let's see what happens when I shoot. DJ says that wasn't enough description, so here we go. My 2 objectives are going to be overwhelming force and secure no man's land. I can actually score both of these. Overwhelming force is to kill things that are on objectives, and then no man's land is to take objectives that are in no man's land, which I feel pretty confident doing. I didn't really move anything. What I did declare was these guys are going to be my oath of moment. I'll get to why I did that. in a couple minutes. We'll save that for as a little surprise and just scooch these guys up a little bit. Oh, you know what I am going to do, DJ? I'm going to back that
thing up.
up a little bit.
Just off of engagement, you still want another objective?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter because you score.
We contest it
at the end of the game.
We can test. Right? Yeah, but that means okay. Go ahead.
You score your objectives at the end of the game, but
Yes.
I don't want to give you free swings into me. So, okay, that's it for my movement. I'm going to do some shooting and fighting, and we'll come back. All right, so things were killed. Not as much as I'd like, because I like everything to be dead, but things were killed. We did finish off these guys with our shooting here.
Bunch of missiles to the face.
Finished off these guys.
Bunch of missiles to the face.
Shooting and fighting here. Tried to put the whirlwind into him. Doesn't do any damage because he's indestructible. And then I did no damage here, but DJ killed 3 of my guys. So that's where it's at. I did score 5 on both of the secondaries. So I did score 10 on secondaries this turn. That's cool. We'll see what happens from here on out. All right, DJ, your turn.
All right, so we're wrapping up this game. My secondaries were absolutely horrible and completely unobtainable from a game perspective, not by an actual card perspective. First, I had tempting targets, and I tried so hard to get Lane to pick that center objective marker, but he didn't. Instead, he goes and picks this one with like Desolation Marines. Who wants to be over there? And then the second one was Storm Hostile Objectives, which meant I had to take objective markers that Lane controlled. And unfortunately, I did not have any resources to take an objective marker, and the land speeder contested with Xeris, did not control it. So my only option was just to move to just score some primaries. And this was a circumstance where I was able to real easily just take a knee. So I fell back out of combat with my Lich Guard and my Techno, and Xeris shot and blew up the plane just to make sure I could hold this objective marker, giving me a 9 on endgame primary and a 0 on secondary. And like I said, took a knee with the Lich Guard, giving us a final score of Necrons 77, DeathWatch 68. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Stay tuned. We'll have the post-match recap coming up here soon, and we'll have that up on the channel. And we'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks for watching.